The self?
My memories, my experiences, my losses.
My relationship between my mentality, my spirituality, and how I am in my body. The self, I guess, is who you are or who you become through everything that happened to you.
I'm removing myself and looking from a third person perspective at like the whole of my being. It's like what I think of.
The self to me, I think, is really dependent on the time, place, who I'm with, where I am at in my life, but also my relationship between my mentality, my spirituality, and how I am in my body.
Me qua me, as I call myself sometimes. And qua means through in Latin. So it's essentially me. The me is me. Every me is probably ultra unique, and even though there are commonalities, still personal world is something that belongs to you.
It's never like a done thing. You can't always say this is who I am, because you're always evolving.
To me, identity at this point in my life is very fluid. It's ever changing, and I'm okay with that. I think about myself fairly often, maybe every hour, minute, second of the day.
I'm so self-conscious. I'm always thinking about my image because I'm a very sensitive person. I'm very invested into what other people are feeling as well.
I think of myself a lot just because I do so much therapy. So I spend a lot of time thinking, writing, and talking about myself.
All the time. I think about myself all the time. You probably don't become a professor and earn a PhD if you don't think about yourself. Only very ambitious people pursue this kind of career.
Being a black girl, I have to make sure that my image is like squeaky clean or something, because I need people to not see me as, the stereotypical black girl, because no matter what, black girls are always put into this box. Ratchet, they're loud, they're ignorant. Maybe if I wore this, or if I didn't wear this, or didn't talk that loud.
Being white, I mean, that's just a given, right? And it has made me an incredibly biased person. And I don't think I realize how privileged I am. And I think that I judge people, I put people in boxes that I really shouldn't. And I think that there's been people that would be amazing and that I wish I could have met and gotten closer to, that because of some racial bias that I didn't even realize, I made the assumption that we wouldn't connect.
As a woman of color, a very tiny box is drawn around what I'm supposed to perform and show up in space as.
I think about how I present myself to other people, because I want people to know who I really am. Like a person that's always trying. I want to do all of these things and be this person, but how am I going to do that? It's like people don't care.
I don't think I was very aware of my physical appearance and biological sex. And I think when I got to my teenage years, that started to shift. The way people view me was definitely evident and influenced the choices I could make and was given space to make.
Being a woman and knowing that, oh, I have to go through these things, but then having to be Black on top of that. And then it's just so much, so now I have to be extra strong. And I break down all the time. It's like, if there was a totem pole, we're like at the bottom, like we're not even part of it, we're like the dirt that's put in it.
I think it played a really big role for the majority of my life. Part of my self-awareness probably is also attached to being born as a female, just because when you feel like everyone around you is judging you, you judge yourself a lot too.
Very interesting, by the way. My parents wanted me to be a girl, and they dressed me up as a girl and gave me dolls to play, which was very interesting. And I grew up as a girl, really.
Being brought up in a Chinese family, my parents were very active in challenging those ideas of what those gender roles were. Traditionally, women are expected to be dependent on other people for value, and I think my parents were very proactive in saying Clarissa can do whatever she wants if she decides to, and she can take care of herself. She doesn't need someone else to take care of her.
My mom spoiled me in all respect, but then the time came when she died. You know, I had to develop myself, and then I started learning about those important manly faculties. Interesting enough, religion, by the way, helped in this respect, developing those manly virtues like courage, stamina, compassion, fatherhood. I think straight men sometimes lack certain sensitivities.
And I'm a man. How many advantages could one person have? I'm a white man. You can't even hurt my feelings. What can you really call a white man that really digs deep? Hey, cracker. Oh, ruined my day. Boy, shouldn't have called me a cracker. Bringing me back to owning land and people. What a drag.
For that matter, speaking about manhood strictly from heterosexual perspective, it is unfair. We need to incorporate different perspectives and understanding the idea of manhood. And I like to develop it myself in different and flexible ways by learning from other sexual orientations, what they can contribute on the level of practical behavior, but also on the level of spirituality. I hope to be a good man in this life.
As a dancer, my biological sex doesn't really affect much. As a modern dancer, I think postmodern era, the idea of a neutral, genderless body was very popular, and that's prevalent through modern dance today, because in ballet they have their traditional gender roles of the woman is looks pretty and is this object that the man moves around a circle. What's arising now that I think is really interesting is this idea of queer art, this kind of injection of this identity into dance. Today, this racially charged, sexuality charged movement for artists is very revolutionary, I think.
Whew, the media, oh my goodness, the media.
Ooh.
Since you were young, you were being spoon-fed these ideas without you even knowing it.
People are putting on my culture along with so many other people's cultures as a hobby and putting it forth like something cool, and I'm tired of it. I'm so tired of it.
I've thought about this, by the way. What's the difference between America and Soviet media, since I grew up in the Soviet Union? Everything was censored in that media, but there was some beauty in it, what they provided us with. There was an interesting interesting element, interesting emphasis on sentimentality. A lot. Oh, we defeated Hitler. We liberated the world from fascism. Let's cry. All right. No, there was a lot of crying, a lot of sentimentality. So in a sense, I am a byproduct of Soviet upbringing, whether I like it or not.
I have been spending the past 4 years of my life in college unlearning what the media taught me. I think the biggest impact it had on me is what I thought sex was supposed to be like. I've been having sex since I was 16, and I'm 23 now, and I mean, really honestly, I feel like I actually lost my virginity this year. I finally understood how to not be an actress in the bedroom.
The Wiz just came out, and I loved it so much. They didn't have like a really light-skinned black girl. They had like this dark or medium brown to black layer. Like people really related, and she had her natural hair. And it's just like, yes, you go Dorothy, like I could be Dorothy.
I started my spiritual development, when I was in my teens, after my mom died. That kind of prompted me to seek deeper truth. I woke up in the middle of the night. That's the best time to ask spiritual questions, right? And I ask myself, am I bodhisattva or not? And bodhisattva is that individual in Buddhism who already achieved enlightenment but decided to stay here in this world out of the sense of compassion. So the question thus remains open. Am I bodhisattva? And I expected me to answer right away, oh no, come on, dude, you're not bodhisattva. But I didn't. I was totally quiet. So I asked another question, is it possible that I am bodhisattva? And again, there was total silence.
All these like beginner Buddhist books that explain that basic concept, like the differentiation between the self and the ego and needing to remove or just dissolve the self, period. And it used to make me so angry when I would read it. I was like, what do you mean? Like, so then this person that I've been working on my whole life just doesn't even like matter?
I like that idea of not taking oneself too seriously. What is important about Buddhism is a sense of focusing on something other than myself.
What's the point? Like, what's the point of anything? I like go all cameo status. Like, well then, what am I? Am I nothing?
Buddhism allows me to introduce a very important corrective into my life. Relax, Andrei, relax. Detach yourself from yourself. Don't take yourself too seriously. No more BS. Relax, 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 relax.
I'm very self-conscious,
Weak,
Overly emotional,
Negative self-talk,
stuck in my dreams.
vulnerable,
highly sensitive.
judgment, and like shouldas, couldas, wouldas.
prone to depression.
My tendency towards self-destructive coping mechanisms has influenced my life a lot.
Solidarity, equality, all of this stuff is not going to come in my lifetime, probably not my children's lifetime.
There is a certain type of self-acceptance and complete unchained vulnerability. I want it. I want to be able to be as 100% raw and true and real.
I want to still keep people's feelings in mind, but I don't want that to rule everything I'm doing, because if that was the case, then I'm not going to be doing anything.
I want to appear as this person who's always dependable and non-emotional and very rational.
I want to be seen as someone who is unapologetic and is okay to be at fault and is able to celebrate everything about life, even things that aren't very pretty.
I am going to die, right? I'm going to face death.
There's just so many different versions of myself. There's this version of what I think people think of me, what I actually am, who other people think I am.
I still remain a mystery to myself. What am I? What am I? And you know, that's going to continue. That question is going to continue pestering me. What am I?
You just feel it, you know, you feel when someone is so okay with whatever is going on in their body space and coming out of their mouth, any of that.
Maybe in 5 years, you would do the same interview. I would be a completely different person.
The self is this amorphous, fluid substance that is changing and beautiful.